Hi, this is James Pereira. So today I shall be going through the benefits of coaching your employees. And there are 9 benefits that I shall be going through. And if you're a business owner or if you're a manager or a leader in an organization, this is going to be useful for you. Stick around till the end where I shall reveal the one tool that I use to x-ray the mind and the heart of employees to find out what drives them and what hurdles and barriers that they may have that prevent them from improving their performance. And this is going to be helpful for you when you are coaching employees, either before you start coaching employees for the very first time or throughout your coaching sessions with them, however long that they may be. So the first thing I want to do is remove this doubt that you may have in your mind whether this is what your staff are looking for, whether they would appreciate you coaching them or getting in touch with them or checking in with them on a regular basis. So, in a research that was done some years back, not too long ago, I think about 5 years or so, among 1,000 employees in several organizations, what was discovered was that 84% of them felt that checking in with their bosses or the bosses checking in with them was important. So you can consider checking in as coaching as well. And if you look at from a generation point of view, Gen Z or Gen Z, 90% of them felt that these regular check-ins were important. And out of that, within that group, 40% felt that it was very important. So with all these rumors that you may have heard, or people saying that Gen Z are lazy and they do not like to work hard and stuff like that, I think this squashes such erroneous thinking among leaders and managers as well, who are of a different generation. So, benefit number one of coaching your employees is that you bring about a behavior change. Now, just like the butterfly that changes, that transforms inside a cocoon, this is exactly what coaching can achieve. It will help your staff change their behavior. Now, you may be wondering, why do they need to change their behavior? I come back to this 5 rights wheel, which is basically my observations and experiences of my life in the corporate world, which was 22 years, and my life as a consultant, trainer, and a coach with other companies now in various industries. And this is what I can encapsulate what success for an individual is going to be. So, if you want a person to be successful, there are 5 elements that you need to keep an eye on. And when all your staff are successful, it means that the organization will also be successful. So, the 5 rights wheel, I would start from the light blue segment, which is the right voice. And for me, the right voice is actually the right person. And I call it the right voice because this person is representing the organization out there with customers and other stakeholders. So you need to ensure that the person that you employ is the right person. So that's the right voice. And once you have recruited and selected them, obviously you got to give them training. So you got to make sure that they are fit to represent the organization. And that's where training comes in. So in order to get the right fitness, it means the right training. You got to roll that out either the first time or, and most often, on a consistent regular basis. Then comes measurement, which means you need to have the right measure. Every employee needs to know what their goals are, and that's what right measurement is, because you're going to be measuring them, their performance, against those goals and targets that you have rolled out, either the time at the moment that they join or at the beginning of every fiscal year or calendar year. So that's the right measure. You need to measure and see if they are achieving or are they lagging behind. Next comes the right behavior, which is actually coaching. That's what coaching does. The right coaching will create the right behavior to help the employee to achieve their targets. Ultimately, that's what you as a business owner or a corporate leader or manager wants from your staff, that they achieve what they are expected to achieve. And finally, the right currency means the right rewards. Everybody who achieves their goals or surpasses their goals need to be rewarded. So that's, in a nutshell, is why you want people to change their behavior, because the right behavior will bring about the right performance as well. So it's not just training, and it's sad because in many organizations, either clients or prospects that I meet up with, the focus is so much on training and they neglect and discard or forget totally about coaching. And T. Harv Eker is famous for always mentioning this in his speeches, in his training programs, and he has also mentioned this in his number one New York bestseller, which is The Secrets to the Millionaire Mind. And in that, he has this formula that if you want to achieve results, you need to make sure that you have the right actions. And therefore, the right actions mean the right behavior. And in order to get the right actions, you need to move back. And that will depend on the right feelings, on the right thoughts, and the right programming, which is inside your head. So, with the right coaching, you can change somebody's actions because you are reprogramming their mind. So, this is good brainwashing in essence. And Marshall Goldsmith has also mentioned this. As a coach, as a business owner, as a corporate leader or corporate manager, your ultimate and only goal in coaching someone is to make sure that they produce results. And that would mean that they produce or they hit the goals or exceed or smash their goals. Because only then would a person be considered a success, and not just from the activities. Because if the activities do not produce the goals, it is still failure. Number two, coaching motivates your staff. And there has been research which has shown this. And in a moment, I shall be showing you some data on this as well. So, coaching is a free form of motivation. You don't need to spend any money, unlike rewards like money or recognition, which may cost money, or gifts and every other stuff. This is totally free. And that's one of the reasons why, in point number one, or before I started, I had mentioned that staff looked forward to you checking in with them. So they want and they view coaching or as a form of motivation. They are motivated because it shows that you care. And actually, coming back to that in a moment as well. Number three, forget about the great resignation. You can slash it down. You can't eliminate it, but you can slash it down by ensuring that you coach your staff on a regular basis. So when they are motivated, they will definitely stick around. So that's what boosts or creates this higher retention among employees, provided you do it the correct way, of course. You can screw this up and they would leave. And studies have also shown that people leave an organization not because of the policies per se of the organization, but because of bad bosses or toxic bosses. So if you are a good coach, you will retain your staff. Benefit number four is that coaching empowers your staff. And if you do coaching the right way, you do not provide people the answers to the reasons why they are not performing, but you push them, you challenge them to come up with solutions. And that's what empowers them. That also motivates people because they get the feel that you appreciate them and therefore you trust them to come up with the solutions to the problems that they face. Now, The other benefit of that, when your staff are empowered and they do things on their own without you breathing down their necks every other day, you free up your time as well, and you get to focus on more important things or other important things that you as a business owner or a corporate leader need to get done. Benefit number 5 is you can identify skills gaps while you are doing coaching, because as the coaching process goes on, you will be able to detect skills that the person may lack or may have forgotten in a training that you may have done months ago. And therefore, this is one great way of figuring out what skills need to be retrained on for either one individual or a group of people. And it is free. You don't need to pay for a consultant to come in and do a training needs analysis. You don't need to run a survey to find out from them what they think they may be lacking, what skills they may be rusty in, because in your coaching, all this will emerge. Number 6, of course, we were talking about achieving goals, and that's the ultimate aim of coaching. So, benefit number 6 is coaching helps them achieve goals rather than just training. Marshall Goldsmith has actually conducted research in an organization with 3,000 employees. So, he and his buddies discovered that when you only do coaching, when you only do training, then the performance only improves by a minuscule 1%. Whereas when you do coaching on a consistent basis, it jumps up to 20% and probably even more. Well, at least in that research, it was 20%. So you could achieve more by bundling coaching with training. So coaching always has to follow up on training. And the reason why, and this has been shown that coaching, besides what Marshall Goldsmith, what I revealed about Marshall Goldsmith's research, another research about 4 or 5 years ago has also shown that coaching moves the needle more in terms of performance rather than enabling. And in this instance, it was sales representatives. So instead of providing them iPads or other tools to help them get the sales, it is coaching that boosts their performance much more than providing them tools such as this. Number 7 is higher engagement. So what we can see is that when your staff are more engaged, and that is because of coaching, and again, I refer back to the very first slide that I presented, where staff are looking forward to engaging with you. And when you engage with them, the engagement definitely gets boosted. And an engaged employee is a motivated employee who will show up for work, who will boost his or her productivity. Number 8 is this is my belief that coaching is probably the best team building effort you can ever undertake in your organization for the teams. Rather than sending them off on some outbound school to do some obstacle calls over a few hours or a few days, those are all transient. And the impact of that, the feel good factor from those kind of activities will quickly dwindle down and it will disappear. Whereas when you are coaching your individual staff as well as a team on a consistent basis, you are always ensuring that it is maintained at a high level, that the team continues to work at a high level. So that's why it's far more lasting, provided you do coaching on a consistent, regular basis and the right way, of course. And the ninth benefit is that you can actually change toxic leaders. And toxic leaders, as you know, are the number one reason why people leave organizations. Of course, the great resignation had other factors that were involved as well. But the number one reason why people leave is because of toxic leaders. And it's a huge demotivator. It also disengages staff. If you want to change and reverse this, then make sure you do coaching. And there is one coaching technique or coaching program that ensures that toxic leaders change their behavior because they are being coached by the people who are reporting to them. So this is stakeholder centered coaching by Marshall Goldsmith. And in this coaching program, among the stakeholders who are involved in coaching the leaders are the people who are directly reporting to these bosses. So that's a great way to change the behavior of these toxic leaders as well. And this is the data I wanted to show with you. You come across as a compassionate leader, provided you do coaching the right way. The impact of compassionate leaders is that 25% of staff feel that they are more engaged, and 20% are more committed to the organization, and 11% are less likely to burn out. And as you can see, these are the very factors that boost retention in an organization. Now, there could be a 10th benefit as well, which is that the reputation of the organization also gets boosted, especially when your highly engaged staff are bragging to people outside the organization about how wonderful your company or your business is. And therefore, whenever you put out an ad to recruit, people would want to apply because they have heard great things about your organization. So that's a bonus benefit that I'm giving you now here. And let's have a look at the 10 leadership derailers. And this was recently published. And what struck me was that there, among these 10 top derailers for leaders, I noticed that these are many of the reasons why leaders don't do coaching. They, first of all, avoid, for whatever reason, they find it's probably too taxing, too much of effort. They could also be struggling with delegation. And delegation, the way I see delegation is related to empowerment. So when you don't empower your staff, you are derailing your reputation as a leader, and your organizational performance is going to decline. Feedback is almost equivalent to coaching. So if you neglect doing coaching and or providing feedback, timely feedback, you are doing a disservice to yourself, to your team, to your organization. You may be insecure, and that's the reason why you don't do coaching, because you do not know how to handle the stress that could be involved in coaching, or you may not know the techniques that are involved in coaching a person effectively. And we also see perfectionism coming into play here. Some people do not want to coach because they feel that I have not learned enough, or I'm not good yet enough in coaching, and therefore I will wait till I'm perfect. No, you should just roll with it and take it from there. Get 1% better each time that you are doing this coaching, and then you can see the improvement. So implement and improve. Just like if you have fired a weapon before, you know that you don't aim forever before you pull the trigger. You aim, you pull the trigger, and you see where the projectile has landed, and you shift your aim. That's how it works in everything, including coaching. Procrastination is another reason. You may think that, well, this can wait. And so I showed you in the very first slide, people are looking forward, your staff are looking forward to engaging with you. So go ahead. Do not wait till a right moment. Any moment is a right moment. Not too far in the future, of course. Today, now is the right moment. And finally, short game is one of the things that I have highlighted in the slide here. Um, Coaching is about the long term. You do not see improvements immediately, but you will see it when you do it consistently and regularly as well. So the intervals between coaching sessions have to be comfortable, nice, not too long, not too short. Ideally, 1 month is a great way to go. Of course, there are certain roles in the organization that would not require 1 month. You could take it once a quarter, once in 2 months, or even once in 6 months. But once in 6 months is pushing it too far. So I want to share a couple of stories. One is my own experience, and this is an experience that I had in 2005, where a rep that I had employed, I think a year or 2 years prior, when he came in, he was a pretty good rep who was achieving his targets or close to that. But as time went on, his performance started declining to an extent that I had to have a coaching session with him. And after the coaching session, this rep, within, I think, about 6 months or so, became the number one rep in the organization, or in the division, actually, in the division that I was heading. And he earned the maximum amount of incentives that were available. So that's the power of coaching. That's what you can achieve if you do coaching right. Now, the second example that I want to give is in a specialized logistics company where they delivered turbines. And if you know, turbines are pretty delicate tools or instruments or equipment. And this is a company which had huge trucks with, I think, about 80 wheels or so. And they were low loaders, or whatever the terminology you want to call that. And they transported the turbines using these 80-wheel trucks. And because these turbines had to be offloaded from ships onto the trucks, and they depended very heavily on the tide. So the sea tide would determine when was the right time to offload the turbines from the ship onto the truck, because you got to ensure that there is an alignment between the ramp on the ship and the ramp to the truck. And when you miss that, you got to wait, what, I think 12 hours or 24 hours for the tide to return. And therefore, when you don't show up on time, like this driver in this company consistently and frequently was being late, money was being dumped into the drain, because it's a pretty expensive endeavor. You got to pay the shipping charges for delaying the ship from moving away. And of course, you make losses in not delivering the turbines in time as well. So after I had done this coaching training in this organization, during a follow-up session, group coaching session with the executive leaders of this organization, one of the executive leaders told me that she had organized a session with this particular driver, and her intention was to terminate the driver during that session. But she decided that she would implement what I had taught them during the coaching training. And I felt the story that she revealed to me was so heartwarming, and that's the reason I want to share it with you, because what she told me was that within 30 days, this driver who was about to lose his job transformed like that butterfly and became the number one driver in the organization. Always punctual, always on time. And he was an advocate, ensuring his peers, the other drivers, also showed up on time for their respective jobs as well. So these are the kinds of transformations that you can experience, provided you do coaching the correct way, consistently and regularly. So if you received any value from this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell icon, select all notifications, so that all future videos like these that I produce that could be of value for you, you will receive them. And what is that X-ray tool that I had mentioned to you at the beginning? it is psychometric testing. Now, there are several types of psychometric tools that exist out there. I've used three of them, and I can tell you, use any one that you're comfortable with. Now, I would like to hear from you. What has been your number one challenge when it comes to coaching your staff? Put it down in the box below, comment box below, and let's start a discussion. And I could probably also do a video on that one of these days. Check out this next video where I shall be revealing the differences between a coach and a psychiatrist or a psychologist.